For you, O democracy, come, I will make the continent indissoluble. I will make the most splendid race the sun has ever shone upon. I will make divine magnetic lands with the love of comrades, with the lifelong love of comrades. For you, these from me, O democracy, to serve you, ma femme. For you, I am trilling these songs. That's from Leaves of Grass by Walt Whitman, and that specific poem is called For You, O Democracy. I was going to read from Leaves of Grass, but I tripped into this For You, O Democracy, and I thought it was nothing could be more appropriate in terms of what's going on right now. And I'll just give you a little example. Let's bring up paper from the other day, and if you can see the headline there, we're talking about Trump escalating the push to erode trust in the election. And nothing could be further from the truth. Nothing could be further from the truth. The Russians have been pushing since 2016, the Russians have been infiltrating the election. And we know from just documentation within the last 3 or 4 months that the lines that are coming out of Russia are the party line. Let's call it the party line coming out of Russia is the party line being repeated in America by Republican senators, by Republican congressmen, and by the president himself. Wow, imagine that, by the president himself. The playbook to disrupt the election being written in Russia is being acted out in America by supposedly patriotic Americans. I do not know what happened to the Republican Party. It seems to have turned into the party of Putin. There's an op-ed in the Friday paper from October the 2nd. There's an op-ed written by a Canadian woman. And she said, who won the presidential debate? And she says, who won the debate? Who won the debate, she repeats. How can you even pretend to ask this question? Let me tell you who lost the debate. The United States lost the debate. American democracy lost the debate. You, the people, lost the debate. We all talk about the danger, and then you carry on as if it's just another presidential debate with a winner and loser. I was reading this woman, and it's exactly how I have felt for a long time now. The news just keeps reporting as if this is normal, that this guy is, Mr. President. It's mind-boggling. The man commits treason in front of your very eyes. He lies continuously, and we sit here acting like he's a legitimate president. Why he hasn't been carried out on the shoulders of the senators in this country is absolutely beyond belief for me. She goes on to say, well, you haven't gotten through, she talks about how the American attitude is, we'll get through this the way we've gotten through things before. Well, you haven't gotten through anything like this, she says, that threatens you like this. Unless you face up what you're facing now, the time is almost up. For God's sake, the old rules are dead. Nothing is what it was. Will you please stop pretending? Couldn't agree anymore with what this woman is talking about here right now. Couldn't agree anymore. We are all pretending in this country that we're living in a normal place. We're not. Two things happened in connection with this, with the voting that's going on right now. So we saw that headline about how Trump, he's on the debate and he's sort of dog whistling the Proud Boys, and he's talking about how the election is going to be illegal and he's not going to go by it, etc., etc. You're wondering if this is just coming off the top of his head. Well, in Pennsylvania, he specifically mentioned Philadelphia as being this hotbed of disruptive activities that we're going to have to monitor the polling stations and all by sending their armed guards out there, their paramilitary, to protect the election. It's all a big hoax. Philadelphia and Pennsylvania, which is one of the major swing states, has been targeted by Trump and his people before he even gave the speech. And he sent them a letter advising them what to do about in the legislature, what the Republican legislature could do. And he came up with these various suggestions. They're going to create poll watchers They're going to create a whole independent, a select election integrity committee that is going to be able to have subpoena power during the course of the election. During the course of the election, they're going to send out poll watchers on their own. They got this whole framework to completely disrupt and intimidate the voters in the big cities. And that's where they're going after, the voters in the big city. The story that preceded this story was about how these two shysters have been running around intimidating black voters in Detroit, in states in Wisconsin, in states in Pennsylvania, in Ohio, all around the country. These guys are so brazen they even use their own name in the robocalls that they were doing, basically telling people that if they voted by mail, that they would be giving out their information and making themselves subject to getting an inoculation from the government, or they were going to check on their taxes, or the police were going to come after them for some old crimes. All sorts of intimidating things like that to discourage people from voting. They found out hundreds of thousands of people received these robocalls. So we got these two bozos, and we don't know if they're connected yet to the upper echelon of the Trump committee, but what do you think? We got this thing going on in Pennsylvania, and to top this off, in Texas, another place that isn't exactly in Biden's pocket right now, they're going to eliminate hundreds, they're going to leave one drop-off point. They had hundreds of drop-off points you could drop off your absentee ballot. They had them all over the state. The governor, just last night, at the last minute, after everything's in place, they've got certified poll watchers at the booth to make sure everything's legal and everything's kosher and everything's up to date, blah, blah, blah. They're going to eliminate thousands of these so that these urban areas within a huge, twice as big as, like 4 Rhode Islands, an area, people are going to have to drive hundreds of miles to drop off a ballot to vote by mail. Republicans are doing anything and everything they can to discredit the election, to fix the election, to destroy the democracy. I don't know how, in the name of God, we can call this anything what it is. It's a sham. So be vigilant and work on what it is you're going to do to try to save our democracy, you and I. Peace, patience, and persistence.